Hello everyone, I am Zach Peterson. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're gonna read even more of your hate comments. After the last video, we did a deep dive to find all the hate comments we could. Actually, we didn't have to deep dive at all. We just waited and you crazy kids just did what you do. So without further ado, let's just dive right in and we'll take a look at all the great things you people,
What do you mean, you people?
will have to say about me.
Everyone hates Zach! Everyone hates Zach!
Let's take a look at our first comment. This comment is on the DC-DC converter modules video on the Altium Academy channel, and it comes from Grant Weidman. He writes, I guess Zach is a full brick scholar. That's a good one, Graham. Although I do see what you did there, seeing as how we are talking about brick format DC-DC converters. Anyways, let's go to the next comment. Now, you all know my very contentious relationship with ESP32.
It drives me fucking insane.
But I did use the ESP32 microcontroller, not the module, the microcontroller, in one of the projects on the Altium Academy channel, and we got some good comments about it. Let's take a look. Superfan Mohammed Yeti writes, people use ESP32 because YouTubers create content about it, and you are obliged to use ESP32 to reach more people. Who started this fight? Well, that is kind of the goal here, to reach people. And I think Espressive started this fight, not me. We truly are slaves to the algorithm. Exapod23 writes, you either die a hero or live long enough to make an ESP32 PCB. I know, I'll never be a hero, right? Martin N. Geroge 6006 writes, just admit it, Mr. Peterson. Your brain said no to the ESP32, but the biceps made sure otherwise. Thanks, I guess. I love being objectified. These next comments come on one of our short videos where we were looking at some PCBs from Tapran. Daniel Magnus writes, using Tapran, spelled incorrectly, is like using your knife directly against your $2,000 desk. Oliver 3 writes, no clue about the cost of the desk, but there is a rather clear scratch left on the desk at 016 when the anti-static bag is removed. I don't see any scratch on my desk. Also, I never really know how to respond to these kinds of comments about the cost of a piece of furniture because I could tell you that it's a $100 Wayfair desk and you're gonna sit there and say something like,
oh my god, you only spent $100 on the desk? You're such a cheapskate.
or maybe it is a $2,000 desk, and then you're gonna say something like,
Wow, you spent $2,000 on a desk? What a waste of money. Maybe you could have bought a better oscilloscope, asshole.
I don't even know how much this desk cost. We hired a guy to do the design in this office, and that guy bought the desk. In fact, he probably did spend $100 on it and he bamboozled me, told me it was worth a lot more than that. Anyways, if you guys care about the desk that much, feel free to buy me a new one. You can ship it to the address on my company website. This next comment comes from our Altium Academy video about reverse engineering a PCB layout from Gerber files. This guy looks kind of like a psycho in this video. Celestial Panda writes, this is not reverse engineering, just fluff. Wasted my time, what the hell? What's always funny about these comments is the nice comment that's right under it that says, thanks for creating the video on this topic. Indeed needed. Well, it is very clear what the video is about. It's about reverse engineering a PCB layout from Gerber files. Not like reverse engineering the functionality from a printed circuit board that you have in hand or trying to reverse engineer something just by looking at the schematics. It's very clear what it's about. So if you didn't want to learn about it, don't watch it. This next comment comes from one of our 1-minute design reviews. BH Ballast writes, please don't use mills. You are not even from America. You probably can't hear it on camera, but there are two homeless people outside this office building screaming at the top of their fucking lungs right now. This is America.
Don't catch you slipping now.
Let me explain to you just how America I keep it in this motherfucker. My three heroes are Jesus Christ, Ronald Reagan, and Hulk Hogan. I take credit for stuff that happened in World War II, like saving the French, even though I had no personal involvement in it whatsoever. I bathe myself and my children in the tears of Mikhail Gorbachev. I tried designing a PCB using millimeters once. The PCB immediately requested universal healthcare. My solder mask is red, my silk screen is white, and my ground plane is blue. I don't do board design, I do board liberation. All I need is 15 guns and a bag of McDonald's, and I'm ready to invade Pakistan.
America, fuck yeah! Come out again to save the motherfucking
This next comment shows exactly what I'm talking about with hate comments on YouTube. This comes on one of our RF power amplifier design videos. SDJ whatever writes, "So bad, quality of you channel. So bad, quality of you English."
Got him!
Just like my relationship with ESP32, I also have a relationship with Ferrite beads. It's complicated. Let's take a look at some of those more antagonizing comments about Ferrite beads. Robagat writes, "I put a Ferrite bean in parallel to a 0 ohm in every project just to piss off Zach. You have been successful." Octopus6342 writes, "Nah, put a Ferrite bead on everything digital." Now I know all the superfans out there know better than to actually do this because you've seen me talk about it non-stop for years, and hopefully the message will finally get through. For everybody else out there, I've just got one piece of advice when it comes to Ferrite beads.
I implore each of you to be unyielding and inflexible in your opposition.
Ferrite beads.
Just say no.
And we have one more comment about Ferrite beads in one of our deep dive videos. Superfan Peter Sage writes, "I think he must be joking with those Ferrite beads. Ferrets are more like noodles." Now Peter always brings the heat in the comments, and well, this one is no exception. I don't even know how to respond to that. This next comment comes on our grounding and Ethernet video, a video that I made back when I was still in my 30s. Some guy with every letter of the alphabet in his name writes, "A violent punk with tattoos of death and pierced ears is teaching me today. I hope he does not kill me." Well, first of all, I only have one pierced ear, not pierced ears. You can see that this one is unpierced. And second, these aren't punk rock tattoos. They're prison tattoos. I'm talking about federal, pound me in the ass prison.
Pound me in the ass prison.
Kick someone's ass the first day or become someone's bitch.
This next comment comes from one of our deep dive PCB design reviews. Peter Pratim Vlogs writes, "If possible, can you please avail all Gerber files that every customer of your company uploads so that people can buy ready-made electronic and other components and circuit boards so that people who don't have Gerber files can also order PCBs and other components from you? I tried to buy ready-made circuit boards, but due to Gerber files, I was unable to order, and it just keeps going on like this." I guess it's not really a hate comment because he just wants to order from me after getting a hold of all of my customer Gerbers or something like that. Regardless, I'm not doing that. This next comment was left on one of the Altium Academy videos about using the drawing tools to create super professional schematics. Jerry Cooper writes, "Why are the schematic symbols so extremely ugly? I have pride in my schematics and I want it to look great." Well, Jerry, you're in luck because in Altium Designer, you can make the schematic symbols look literally however you want. You can change the color, you can change the font, you can change the outline color, you can do just about anything you can imagine with those symbols using the drawing tools in a schematic library file.
Let's go, Jerry. Go!
This next comment was also left on one of our deep dive PCB design review videos. Supernumerary writes, "At various eras in my career, I have been an engineering department manager. This schematic reveals a personality that is angry, rogue, lashing out at tradition. I'd imagine this person to be a member of Antifa. I would not want this person in my department."
They're Antifa! Antifa's coming through the roof! Antifa's in the chopper!
I didn't know you could spot an Antifa member from looking at their schematics, but okay. Now this next set of comments comes from the right angle bends in PCB traces video on Altium Academy. First Pro Cactus writes, "You tell university students that electricity is like water in a pipe? Why would you do that? Why would you do that to anyone? I'm out." This feels like a too long didn't watch kind of comment, but as I explained in the video, it's one of the very simple conceptual tools that you can use to very easily explain how Kirchhoff's current law works. However, I always put an asterisk on that statement and I make sure to tell students that electricity doesn't actually work like that, it's just a useful physical picture. And I did say that in the video, so maybe go back and watch it again. Galileo RS writes, "Sacrilege! Burn the infidel!" That's why I like doing videos on this kind of stuff. There's always something contentious that riles people up. Rubberduck4966 writes, "You forgot about the different trace length. This also affects the signal integrity." Actually, I did account for the trace lengths when we were looking at the insertion loss plots. The reason the insertion loss plots are different is because of the different trace lengths. Those insertion loss plots are showing the total loss, not the loss per unit length. And if you go take a look at the article that is linked in that video, you will actually see the values for the lengths that were used for all those different traces, and then you can go back and calculate the insertion loss values per unit length on your own. I'll also update that article to include those values so you can actually see them and check for yourself. Steve Smith 4982 writes, the electrons need to slow down to navigate a 90-degree bend and it messes up the timing. I feel like this is rage bait, so I'm just gonna respond with one of the other comments already on this video. Sacrilege! Burn the infidel! Camino writes, Adidas X Altium is crazy, bro. Yeah, Altium did hook it up with some nice polo shirts for these videos, but that one is like 3 years old at this point, so maybe I need to get some updated ones. Maybe a Nike shirt next? MDFYUI 8000 writes, the real rule is that boards with all traces at 45 degrees to the board edge look cooler. You're right, boards with all 45-degree traces look cool, but wait till you see a board that has all curved traces. Looks like a fucking Picasso painting. Christ-centered Minist writes, it acts like a choke at high frequencies. Does it though? It only starts to look like a choke up at like 80 gigahertz or some ridiculously high frequency. You can go check in the video where you actually start to see a dip in the insertion loss. And our last comment comes from Stolen Girlfriend Club 8724. Stolen Girlfriend Club writes, hi Zach. Did you like steal my girlfriend or something? And I think with that, we're gonna wrap up this hate comments video. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for subscribing to Altium Academy. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. And of course, thanks for all the great comments. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button and leave a hate comment in the comments section, and maybe we'll accumulate enough to do hate comments video number 3. Thanks everybody, we'll see you next time.